Slashed and passed, the Senate takes a $9 billion bite out of foreign aid, and that's just a start. Plus, the Epstein files and a sharp turn from Donald Trump, what he's now saying about his own supporters, and the message he's sending if they keep digging. And Israel bombs Syria with cameras rolling. Why the strike caught U.S. officials off guard. The stories that matter, clear and credible, from across the country to around the world. These are your unbiased updates from Straight Arrow News. Good morning, I'm Craig DeGrelli. We begin with breaking news. Early this morning, the Senate greenlit $9 billion in budget cuts pushed by President Trump, targeting foreign aid, food relief, even public broadcasting. The House has to sign off again after senators made changes to the already approved plan. The package strips funding from a range of programs, including U.S. food aid abroad, foreign development initiatives, and the Corporation for Public Broadcasting, which supports NPR and PBS. Two Republicans, Susan Collins and Lisa Murkowski, broke ranks and voted no alongside every Democrat. Supporters of the cuts call it woke spending on pork projects. And there's a catch. The Congressional Budget Office says this plan could actually add $3.3 trillion to the deficit over the next decade. Now it's a race against the clock. If both chambers do not pass the exact same version by Friday, the money stays put. President Trump is lashing out not only at Democrats, but at his own supporters as well over the Epstein files controversy. In a blistering Truth Social post, Trump dismissed the growing outcry from MAGA-aligned voters as BS, though he spelled it out in full, cooked up by Democrats, calling critics weaklings and past supporters who bought into the so-called Epstein hoax. His message, I don't want their support anymore. As you might know by now, the backlash began after the Justice Department, under Trump's leadership, said there's no Epstein client list and no plans to release more documents. Many on the right are not buying it. Marjorie Taylor Greene and Thomas Massie are pushing forward, teaming up to force a House vote demanding the files be released. They're using a rare procedural move called a discharge petition, which could override party leaders if enough lawmakers sign on. It's a high-profile test of loyalty inside the GOP, one that pits Donald Trump against some in his base that have helped define his presidency so far. Across the world, a major escalation in the Middle East. Israel striking the front gate of Syria's military headquarters in Damascus as fresh battles break out in the south. The strike comes amid tense fighting in the city of Ceuta, where the minority Druze population is clashing with Syria's new interim government. President Ahmad al-Sharaa took power after ousting Bashar al-Assad last December. Assad ran for his life to Moscow. One of the airstrikes was caught live on Syrian state TV. Watch this.
إن الجيش سيواصل مهاجمة قوات.
The anchor forced to take cover mid-broadcast. Israel says it's acting to protect the Druze community, which has deep ties to the Israeli-held Golan Heights. Syria is furious, accusing Israel of targeting civilian facilities and government institutions. Syria's health ministry says the strike left 3 dead and dozens injured. Meanwhile, Secretary of State Marco Rubio says American officials have been in touch with all parties involved and claims steps are in place to, quote, bring this troubling and horrifying situation to an end. A renewed ceasefire has been announced, but whether it holds is anyone's guess. It's mid-July, prime time for hurricane season. And as we head into the weekend, the Gulf Coast is gearing up for a soaker with heavy rain and possible flooding on the way. A brewing system sliding across the Florida Panhandle is gaining steam, now with a heightened chance of developing into a tropical depression as it tracks toward the northern Gulf Coast. The storm is expected to push over the Gulf and into southeastern Louisiana by later today, with Alabama and Mississippi also in the impact zone. How bad could it be? New Orleans is prepping for up to 5 inches of rain by Saturday, with the National Weather Service warning some spots could see double that. Residents spent Wednesday stacking sandbags, stocking up on supplies, and getting shelters ready just in case. If the system strengthens enough to get a name, it will be called Dexter. We're not sure if it's official policy or just a presidential preference, but Donald Trump says he has convinced Coca-Cola to sweeten up. On Truth Social, Trump claims Coke has agreed to start using real cane sugar in American products, calling it a very good move. You'll see, it's just better. Coca-Cola's response? Not exactly a confirmation. In a statement, the company said it appreciates President Trump's enthusiasm and teased innovative new offerings coming soon. Trump did not mention high fructose corn syrup, but Health Secretary RFK Jr. is calling it a culprit in America's obesity crisis. Coke already makes Mexican Coke, sweetened with sugar and cult followed. And yes, Trump's beloved Diet Coke button is still around. By the way, Coke is a Berkshire Hathaway product, and the Oracle of Omaha, billionaire Warren Buffett, always has a six-pack of regular Coke handy in his office here in Omaha. Fun fact for you this morning. Finally this morning, a celestial first that's truly out of this world. Listen to this. Astronomers have caught, for the first time ever, the exact moment a solar system started to form around a newborn star. Working together, NASA's James Webb Telescope and the European Southern Observatory zoomed in on a baby star called HOPS 315, sitting 1,300 light years away from Earth. For the record, by the way, 1 light year is nearly 6 trillion miles. What they saw? Gleaming specks of planet-forming material, tiny building blocks of a future solar system swirling into orbit for the very first time. Astronomers have spotted gas and dust disks around young stars before, but never this early, right at the moment planets begin to take shape. By the way, I was pre-reading this copy this morning, and this song came into my head. Star of wonder, star of light, star with royal beauty bright, westward leading, still proceeding, guide us to thy perfect light. How about that? A bit of Christmas in July. Before we head out, here's what we're tracking today. At 8:30 this morning, the Commerce Department releases U.S. sales data for June. Retail sales fell by 0.9% in May. Then at 1, White House Press Secretary Caroline Leavitt holds a press briefing. Also at 1, a judge will consider whether to lift a sweeping gag order ahead of Brian Kohberger's sentencing for the stabbing deaths of 4 University of Idaho students. Then at 5:30, another demonstration in opposition to President Trump. Organizers are calling it the Good Trouble Lives On National Day of Action. If you want more unbiased updates, did you know we have a newsletter? It's delivered right to your inbox each morning. Sign up at san.com/newsletters. Those are your unbiased updates for this Thursday. We'll see you back here tomorrow, Friday. We're always first on Friday. Love that. For all of us here at Straight Arrow News, I'm Craig DeGrelli. Have a great day.